A midlife crisis is more than just a cultural stereotype. It's a real psychological struggle that can surface between the ages of 40 and 60. Often triggered by aging, loss, or unmet expectations, it can actually lead individuals to question their identity, make impulsive choices, or abruptly abandon long term commitments. While not officially classified yet as a mental illness, the emotional and relational fallout is very real, especially for the spouses and families left behind. This podcast gives voice to those living through the aftermath, exposing the hidden pain, and seeking accountability, healing, and understanding. Thank you for joining us today on MLC Bomb Drop and beyond. The stories and events discussed in this podcast are for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered legal, medical, or professional advice. Any names, locations, or identifying details have been changed to protect privacy. Any similarities to actual persons, living or dead, or real events are purely coincidental. The information presented on this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional advice. Always consult with a qualified expert regarding any decisions related to your specific situation. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the podcast creators. Hey, good morning, Bomb Squad. I hope everybody enjoyed a wonderful Thanksgiving. This is still part of our Gratitudes Week. And today and tomorrow, I want to follow up on Ken DeRoot's topic of opportunity, because that is what we've all been given. Our spouses took opportunity on their own without giving us a choice to say, yeah, we'd like an opportunity to do something different or whatever. But you know what? We're stuck in that boat. So let's make the most of it. So today I want to talk about being grateful for reinvention. And I've got a few famous comebacks and everyday survivors. So today's episode is on women that made the most of the opportunities they had been given through MLC bomb drops or divorce or, and tomorrow I'm going to do the same for men. So midlife divorce doesn't just break your heart, as you know, it breaks your identity. Betrayal doesn't just shatter trust, it totally shatters the world that you built. Now, as a woman, you're faced with financial fears, loneliness, maybe humiliation, and all of it hits at once. But women throughout history and women quietly living among us have rebuilt their entire lives totally from the ashes. Some struck gold, some found peace, and some simply found themselves. And all of it counts. Hey guys, welcome back to MLC Bomb Drop and Beyond Be Grateful Week. Today's episode is for the women, the discarded, the blindsided, the financially devastated, the ones trying to hold their identity together after a total midlife unraveling. And today, we're looking to the real stories, women who were knocked down, counted out, and left to rebuild alone, and who rebuilt bigger than anyone expected. Not with fairy dust, not with luck, but with grit, clarity, and the kind of bravery only a broken heart can teach. And I know each of you ladies out there have that kind of bravery. So here we go. We are going to start with Martha Stewart, divorced at 49, a billionaire by 56. How crazy is that? Before the fame, before the empire, Martha Stewart was a working mom with modest means and a collapsing marriage. Her divorce at age 49 was brutal. Her friends said she looked hollow for months and months. She felt untethered. Her whole identity was tied up in her marriage, just like most of us. And that's exactly how so many midlife women feel right now. But here's the part we forget. Her entire empire, it was built after the divorce. Martha Stewart Living magazine launched the same year her marriage ended. Her media partnerships came after she stood alone. Her billion-dollar brand identity came from starting over at almost age 50. So what to be grateful for on this one? Not the divorce, but the doorway it forced open. Martha Stewart found herself by losing the life that she thought she needed. Then we've got Debbie Fields, or more commonly, I think everybody knows her as Mrs. Fields Cookies. So Mrs. Fields, well, Debbie, was divorced at 45, and she reinvented at the height of pressure. Debbie Fields started her cookie company with a small loan and even smaller confidence. She raised kids, she built stores, she worked endless hours. But what most people don't know, her first marriage collapsed in her mid-40s. It was a huge emotional and financial blow. She could have totally stopped. She could have downsized. She could have disappeared quietly into the dark. But instead, you guys, she expanded, she franchised, and she repositioned her brand into a national empire. And eventually, she found love again. Actually, this time, apparently a real partnership, real support after building the business and after divorce. So, on that one, you could be grateful for the rediscovery of your own capability, the realization that the past was not your ceiling, it was your training. And then we've got Yoshiko Shinohara, divorced young, broke at 38. But you know what? She became Japan's first self-made female billionaire. Shinohara's story is one of the most remarkable reinventions ever recorded. Her husband left her. She returned to Japan alone. She had almost no money and no social support. At the age of 38, she started a tiny little temp agency out of her one-bedroom apartment. It grew into Persol Holdings, one of the largest staffing companies in Asia. She eventually became Japan's first self-made woman billionaire in a culture that told her a divorced woman at her age was finished. So remember, the strength that comes from being underestimated. Be grateful for that. Because I know a lot of people, when they are underestimated, that just drives them further to succeed. And then we've got Kathy Hughes. Divorce plus debt equals, who knew, a media empire. Kathy Hughes founded a radio empire after her marriage collapsed and her finances were crumbling. She almost lost everything. Banks refused to lend to her. People called her delusional with her little idea for radio. But today, she is the founder of Urban One, the largest Black-owned broadcasting company in the U.S. Just remember, the refusal to be reduced to your worst chapter can really give you the energy and gumption to keep going forward. And remember, you don't have to like what happened. You don't have to pretend it didn't shatter you, but you can choose gratitude for the version of yourself that's forming now. And that's the version that builds, the version that rises, and the version that doesn't need rescuing. And then we've got everyday people, everyday women, just like you and me. We've got the late bloomer teacher, 52 years old. Her husband left her for a younger coworker. She had no career. She had no money at all. She went back to school. She got a credential. She became a beloved third grade teacher. Hundreds of kids now adore her. And just know, you guys, just like that teacher, she shows that purpose can be more powerful than money. Then we've got the hospital volunteer, and this lady was 60 years old, abandoned after 33 years of marriage. She went into a deep depression. She suffered severe loneliness. She eventually chose to volunteer at a hospice, and she started, meeting people that were in the end of their lives in hospice. She says it healed her heart more than anything else, and it gave her gratitude that pain can be recycled into compassion. It really changed the direction of her life. We've got a lady that was in her late 50s. She lost her home and marriage, moved into a rental. She thought her life was completely over. She didn't have any hope for the future. Slowly, she rebuilt everything. She focused on her grandchildren. She started having trips with her sisters and friends. She joined a hiking group. She enjoyed her mornings coffee on the deck, peace. And she says, sometimes the happiest life is the simplest one. And she is in her late 50s. We've got another gal at age 48. Her divorce broke her financially. She started sewing for therapy. She eventually sold a few items. Then she started selling a lot of items. She set up an Etsy shop, and now her Etsy shop supports her 100% financially and emotionally. It really gave her a new purpose. And in her case, she feels like healing could turn into creation. And that is so true, because pain really can inspire and motivate you to go into a new direction. So remember, you guys, this Thanksgiving, be grateful for your resilience, your clarity, your rebirth, your potential, your ability to rebuild a life that finally fits you. Midlife reinvention isn't just an option, it is your birthright. This has been your Be Grateful Week Women's episode. To every woman rising after betrayal, remember, girl, your comeback is already in motion. Happy Thanksgiving week, and I will see you tomorrow when we talk about the men's episode. Hey, some resources that are available for you guys are thewifeexpert.com. That's Lori McDermott over there at thewifeexpert.com. She also has a new app out. There's tons of videos that can give you all kinds of information on no matter where you are on your MLC journey or trying to reconcile with your spouse. So check out thewifeexpert.com. And if you're not sure if your spouse or yourself is in maybe approaching or in a midlife crisis, be sure to check out Kenda Root's quiz at midlifecrisismarriageadvocate.com. Again, that's a midlifecrisismarriageadvocate.com. That's a quick little 2-minute quiz. It's free. So check that out as well. We have a ton of resources out there for you guys. So check them out. Thanks. You guys, forward moving spouses, you are not alone. Left behind spouses, you are not alone. Those in crisis, you are certainly not alone. This is just crazy how epidemic this has become. I have a waiting list now of people from around the world that I'm trying to get to. And if you've been through a midlife crisis or been impacted by someone else's and you want to share your story, I'd love to hear from you. Hang in there, you guys. I will get to all of you. Please reach out to me at mlcbombdrop@gmail.com and visit us on Facebook and Instagram, MLC Bomb Drop. And just remember, your voice matters. Your story could be the one that helps someone else feel seen. It could help someone else feel heard. And you know, it will help somebody else feel understood. You are not alone, no matter where you are in your journey. If the bomb was just dropped, the earthquake just happened, if you are 7 or 8 years in and you're coming out of starting to wake up and awaken to this, you are not alone. It's sad that this is epidemic, but we're here to provide support. So until next time, take care and live authentically each and every day. Thanks again, you guys.